So good evening, everyone, instead of good morning. This is Debbie Wetzler, and I'm doing my Tuesday evening newer associate training, but it's for anybody that wants to ask questions about pretty much anything in our business. um, I'm always open for suggestions as to what you would like to learn about, but I thought I would start tonight with sharing one of the things that was an eye-opener for me when I first got in, and that was to actually write down and visualize what it took to be a bronze and then a silver and then a gold. So I have some templates of what that looks like and what your business should kind of look like. So you kind of have in mind how many people, what you should, not necessarily what you should be doing, but what your organization looks like at those levels. And then we'll get to other things. So let me share my screen because I pulled these up earlier. And if I can read them. Okay. So, why isn't this? This should be a template on a. All right, so I'll move this up and down. I hope you can all see it. It's smaller than I thought. It should be a Word document, so I don't know what the deal is. But anyway, okay, so template for bronze executive. So this is what you should see in your organization for bronze. At least 24 personally sponsored associates, 120 to 130 associates on the left, 120 to 130 associates on the left and right sides, and 5 team enrollments per week. Now that's what a good, strong bronze looks like, basically. So here's you making $2,000 a month. Here's your 20 cases on your left and your 20 cases on your right. 12 personally sponsored, 12 personally sponsored. Again, this depends on your organization where the personally sponsored goes. It could be, you know, if one of your legs has been growing bigger, then you're going to have more on your left or right. But that's, I just balance these just so you'll know. And then a full 120 to 130 associates on both sides. And that's because you're going to want 20 cases per week on the left and 20 cases per week on the right, which is equivalent to 80 cases. And that's for a solid bronze. And then you're going to be looking at 5 new enrollments per week. And that's not you, that's you and your team. So that's what a strong bronze executive looks like. And so, you know, when your business grows and you get to that point, and this is, you know, as again, if you're signing up 24 people, they're not all going to be active, right? Some of them are going to sit there and do nothing. Some are going to order product, and then some are going to be your leaders, and they're going to start popping up. So for bronze, you're going to have at least 2 leaders because you're going to need 2 Director 300s at least. So that's what a bronze. That's what the template for the bronze looks like. And because you're doing the training, I'll make sure I send these out to you afterwards so that you can have them yourself. So that's the bronze template. Oops, it's a word. Silver template looks like this. Your business is growing. So now you have 28 to 30 personally sponsored enrolled associates, 180 associates on the left and right sides, and 7 team enrollments per week. So again, here's you with $3,000 a month, that should be. So I need to get in there and change that. 30 cases on the right, 30 cases on the left. Oh, I'm sorry, that's what you make a month as of silver. That's $4,000 a month, I'm sorry. 14 to 15 personally sponsored, and again, they can be anywhere, but you'll need 180 approximately associates on the left and right side. And you're looking at 7 new enrollments per week. That's a silver executive. And you can see it just gets stronger and stronger. Then we go to gold. So the template for a gold executive looks something like this. 35 to 40 personally, every time I click on this, personally enrolled associates, approximately 300 associates on the left and right sides. Again, that's you and your team signing those people up. It can also be some spillover because that gives you volume. The spillover, again, is somebody that's put in by your sponsor or somebody above you. And you do get to count the volumes that they order in their on their auto ships and stuff every week or every month. And 20 team enrollments per week. So as you're moving up, you should be seeing more and more enrollments because everybody on your team is enrolling. So now that's you making about 8,000 a month as a gold. You have 50 cases on your right and left coming in to create that 5,000 volume a week. You have 18 to 20 personally sponsored people, and there's your 300 associates on your left and right sides with 20 new enrollments per week. And I'm going to go to diamond, and then I didn't even make them for above that. So for platinum now, and this will just kind of show you the progression because I know you're not quite there yet. 40 to 45 personally enrolled associates. Most of the diamonds have around 90 to 100 associates enrolled, just so you know, the triple diamonds. 500 to 550 associates on the left and right sides, and 30 team enrollments per week coming in for a good, strong, growing organization. So that's you making 12 to 15,000 a month as a platinum. You have 100 cases on the right, 100 cases on the left coming in to give you your 10,000 points. 20 to 23 personally enrolled people on your left and right sides, making 40 to 45. And 500 to 550 associates on your left side and your right side. And lastly, what it takes to be diamond. Now you have about 50 personally enrolled associates. You have 850 associates on the left and right sides with 40 team enrollments per week. So you're making about 18 to 20,000 a month as a diamond. You have 150 cases on both sides. That gives you your 15,000 volume points. And for diamond, you need it to be 2 weeks in a row. So it's the average of 2 weeks. So you have to go diamond the first week and then diamond the second week to be diamond. And that of course, that has to be consecutive. 25 personally sponsored or 50 personally sponsored people on right and left sides, wherever you put them, and then 850 associates on both sides. So you've got about 1,700 associates now in your downline and 40 new enrollments per week. Now I can tell you the momentum's picked up. So I've been having at least 100 enrollments per week as a triple diamond. And I think that's about, I think David's been having about anywhere from 60 to 95 new enrollments a week.
That's in your whole lineage down, right?
Right, that's in my whole, yeah, everywhere.
Okay.
So those are, so do you have any questions on this? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine.
Okay, you said that you have to make diamond 2 weeks in a row. So is that the first rank? You have to do that two consecutive weeks before you, so that's before you achieve that as a lifetime rank? You have to do it twice in a row?
Yes.
Wow.
So diamond is an average, and if you look in the compensation plan, this is why I don't go into ambassador, because then it gets complicated to get to ambassador. But anyway, diamond, you have to have an average of for 2 weeks of 30,000 points. That's right. Okay. So you could do 14,000 one week and 16,000 the next. You could do 10 one week and 20,000 the next.
Oh,
It just has to be the average of 30,000. So that's 15,000 a week is what we say, approximately.
oh, okay.
And once you have the average in 2 weeks time, then you're considered a diamond, as long as the second week you have at least 6 Director 300s.
Okay.
So when you're getting to that point, you know, first of all, it does tell you on your on the front of your website what the qualifications that you need
The
to get to your
landing
next
page?
level. So if you're platinum, it will tell you what you need, and it will tell you you've got 1 week or 2 weeks left to get to that point and stuff like that.
Okay.
But if you get to platinum, it'll tell you every week that you need 2 weeks of 15,000, and it'll tell you all that on your qualification board. So we help you, but if you're going to hit that 30,000 mark over a 2-week period, we make sure that in your second week you have 6 Director 300s, and you'll have to have, well, you've had to have 200 personal volume since you were
Yeah.
bronze. So anyway, so that's what it takes to get to diamond. And then double diamond and triple diamond are 3 weeks averaging, and double diamond is 3 weeks averaging 60,000. So that's about 20,000 a week. And triple diamond is 75,000. So that's about 25,000 a week.
Mm,
Again, it can be any combination,
okay. Okay.
but it's over a 3-week period. So it'll do a rolling 3 weeks for you. And so you can hit that 1 week and then you could be off the next and maybe only hit double diamond or diamond. So as you first hit it, you're not there solidly usually. So you'll be fluctuating a little bit until you get to be solid.
Like every rank, right?
Like every rank. That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah. So we're well prepared.
That's right. You're well prepared.
Yeah.
So those are kind of what you're looking at, and they're kind of good to see about, because people, that's the first thing I did was sit down. I'm kind of a numbers person, and sit down and I figured out how many people I needed. But like I said, when I first got in, it was much simpler, and people was only ordering ASEA because that's all we had. We didn't even have the Renew. And so we knew we needed 20 people on this side and 20 people on this because they were all ordering 1 case per week. But now people are putting in a case and 2 tubes, and they may be putting in the skincare kit, and they might be putting in the vitamins. So it's kind of harder now to tell, exactly how many people, because if they're ordering a lot, then you don't need as many. But that's what this is. And then I was going to show you one last thing, because most people are not through their warm market, and sometimes you never get through your warm market. There's people that you forget about all the time. And one of the best places is just to look in your phone. I think I have 4,000 contacts in my phone. Have I contacted all of them? No. Some of them I don't even remember. Anyway, so, but this was just a reminder of some of the best places to go out and network if you're wanting to either practice conversations or, maybe meet some new people, or maybe just have some fun and see who else you build a relationship with and maybe get in your organization, because that works. So religious events, if you can get in front of people with churches and they get behind this product, you have opened a huge door. So you may want to shop around for churches for a while if you don't have one you love. Going to exercise. So there's team sports, there's running clubs, there's road biking, there's gyms, all different places that people exercise. Even going to cheer some of those things on. If you're watching marathons or stuff, you could mix with the crowd and kind of, like, oh, that guy's on ASEA. You know what that is? That's helping him with his endurance.
Mm-hmm.
It just perks up conversations. Hobby clubs. A lot of people love to do different things. Scrapbooking, skiing, different things like that. Coffee shops, of course. Neighborhood groups, HOAs, neighborhood watch, block parties. Dog parks. I've talked to lots of people when I took my daughter's dog for walks or turn them over in the dog park. Conferences, ethnic or gender-based clubs, continuing education classes, social media, of course. People have been being very successful with social media. Volunteer work, meetup.com, alumni events, trade shows.
What's meetup.com?
Meetup is a great place. I can tell you they've got huge events in Denver. But Meetup, if you go to meetup.com, there are all kinds of different interest groups. So some people love dogs and they have a dog meetup, or some people have hiking and they have hiking meetups, or some people like just to network, so they have a network meetup. And they're groups that get together about once a week. They're very informal. You don't pay anything, but if you have that same interest, you go to them. And you can meet all kinds of people at those things. So one of the things I found wonderful in Denver, which I keep talking about, it would take a little bit of organization, but you went to meet up there, and they have like a BNI group, only it's free. And they literally have 7 of these groups, and they're called the Alternative Business Networking Group. So that's ABNG, and that's what they call it for short. And you literally go to those, and you have to literally sign up on meetup.com. So what you're doing is you're signing up, you're making an appointment, and then you go there. So you're telling people that you're coming, so that, you know, if nobody's going to sign up, then probably the person who started it won't go. But if 5 people, you know, say they're going to come, then you probably want to have a meetup. Anyway, so this group, they limit it to, I think, about 30. They go to lunch in a spot. They encourage you to have lunch and to tip the server, basically. But they go around, and their job is to build relationships. So you do eventually say what you do, but you don't promote yourself and your business. You're saying who you are and what you do. And then depending on your interests, you go and make one-on-ones with these people, and then you get together, and that's when you can do business or talk about different things. My daughter's found people to hike with. She's found people to do ASEA with. It's amazing. And they usually have a leader that leads it. And the one rule that they have is if you sign up to go to that, you better be there, because if you miss 3 times, because then you're keeping somebody else out of that spot, and they're so packed because they're so popular that they will ask you not to come for another 6 months because you've reserved a spot, and now somebody else can't come. But they have people showing up just in case somebody can't come. It's really popular because it's not BNI, and you don't have to go every week. You can go when you want to go. You just have to sign up for it. But that's meetup groups around here also. Alumni events, trade shows, music. I mean, anytime you go to music, there's people around and they're all talking. Chambers of commerce, networking events, online forums and blogging, speeches and talks, and your kids' birthdays parties. So those are just maybe some new ideas for you as to maybe where to go and what to do. And now that the holidays are coming up, you're going to be invited to probably a few more gatherings and holiday parties. And so even though that's not a place for you to just go and talk about ASEA at all, you might want to bring it up and just say, you know, people will be talking about everything, and they'll be talking about their health, and they'll be talking about, you know, oh, I just wish this was the time of the year all year round. I work so hard, or, you know, whatever. Just pick up clues on these people, and then maybe a few days later call them back and say, you know, you were telling me about how you just work all the time and you're really tired of that. I might have a solution for you if you'd be interested. And then just start talking to them. So let me see what this chat is. Yeah, meetup.com is a really fun thing to do if you can find groups that you're interested, or you might just go to groups that you're not even interested in just to meet some new people. So those are the templates. are there any questions, or is there anything specific that somebody wants to go over?
In your list, you had networking groups. If nobody else has a question, I don't want to monopolize that.
No, that's all right. Go ahead.
You mentioned networking groups, and I keep hearing that from people. And I mean, I have different women's groups that I do things with, but not specifically, they're not specifically for networking. And that's been an area where I've wanted to get involved in, but I don't know how, because I haven't had a traditional business before. So I've been told, go to different business networking groups. And so how do you?
Well, okay, so there's things like BNI. Now on BNI, you can look up BNI, and they're all over, and they have them usually Monday through Friday. They have them in the mornings, early mornings, and they have them for lunches. And you can virtually go and visit them 2 times before making up your mind if you want to officially join. They unfortunately meet every single week. You pay, I think it's $800 now to join, and you have to go every week or find a substitute. However, I'm not suggesting that you join. I'm suggesting that you go visit, because you get to stand up. Everybody stands up, and the official members will stand up and go around, and they'll say, "Hi, I'm Roxanne. I represent." I don't know. I'm a mortgage attorney or mortgage broker, and so I'm really good at what I do because blah 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 blah. And a good reference for me would be somebody who's looking to buy a house, right? And everybody goes around and says, and there's usually one person from each different particular industry. So there may be other health people there, but nobody's got what we've got. So then you have to have like about a 30 to 45 second, ever heard of redox molecules? Or I market for a company that has a cellular regeneration product that's 10 to 15 years ahead of its time. And I haven't seen a health issue yet that this hasn't helped. Period. And then you go, a good reference would be a person with cells. That makes people laugh, and but that's true, right? And so then you sit down, and then afterwards you get up, and they go through their meeting, and they finish their meeting, and it's usually fun. And then afterwards you get up and you make one-on-ones with people. I really enjoyed what you said. I'd like to get to know you better. Can we do a one-on-one? And then you meet with them, set up a coffee date or a whatever. And it's a great way to meet new people. So that's one thing. Then there's things like HeartLink, like Pearl Bowen belongs to HeartLink. And there are some HeartLinks around here. I think they're not very close for me, I don't think, but there might be one in your area.
Okay.
And then she goes to another one called, she has a Grapevine event, and they just get together because they're a networking. Chamber of Commerce has networking events all the time. I've picked up a few associates from Chamber of Commerce things because they put together all kinds of stuff. But what I would do is just Google networking events close to where I am or in Lynchburg and see, because they'll pop up everywhere. There's women networking events, this women that like to get together. There's business women of Maryland. There's businesswomen of Virginia, I'm sure. And they get together, sometimes it's once a month or sometimes it's once a week, and they have lunches and they get to know each other, and everybody, of course, it's all for business, basically, usually. So it's a great way to meet new people.
And Debbie,
Yeah.
another idea, and this would be for you, Buffy, or anyone, is you can start your own meetup.
Yes,
so
you can.
if you wanted to do something that revolves around health, that'd be a great way to meet other people in that health field, because chances are you're going to complement what they're offering, and that would be a great way to start a very particular type of network, and you guys all have a common theme.
Right.
And
That's
something
fantastic.
I wanted to ask you, Debbie, okay, like I've got my ASEA business cards, and so like is that the best type of business card to have to go to an event? Or should it be something different that doesn't say ASEA, whether it's health-based, like what you have? I just want your opinion.
I don't ever put ASEA on my cards, ever.
Okay,
I don't want them to go Google it before I tell them about it.
that's
And that's what they'll do. And I don't even put Redox. I just put my name, my email, and my phone numbers. That's all I put. They can ask me what I do.
a
That's
good
what
idea.
I want them to do. So that's all I ever put on mine. And sometimes I put part-time miracle worker. And then that prompts them to ask, what does that mean?
Yeah, but that's wrong. You should say full-time miracle worker, Debbie.
Well, sometimes I'm with my grandchildren, or sometimes I'm doing something else. So I'm part-time, but I just thought it was funny. So yeah, meetups and networking groups are a great way to meet new people, start building relationships with them. Go for a one-on-one. If they want to know what you do, you can tell them about it. Sometimes people, intuitively, a lot of people just jump right on this and go, I want this, or I want to know more. And make sure that your phone can pull up ASEA Healthy Self, because you could show them right there some of the testimonials that are on that. And that's mind-blowing for a lot of people. Denny was just talking today about how she'd been Facebooking. She's never met these people. She hooked them into ASEA Healthy Self. They came right back and said, I want to order the product. She's never even met them or talked to them. So she's just playing on Facebook, making friends and linking them into ASEA Healthy Self.
Mm-hmm.
And they want the product. So that's another good thing to do.
So is she finding great success with doing that versus starting with one of the webinars and then doing ASEA Healthy Self later? Because I go back and forth with, which way I go. What do you find?
She doesn't have to recruit very much anymore, obviously, but she's still on top of it and doing it. So she normally just hooks them into ASEA. She'll sit there in an airport and they'll say, what do you do? And she goes, you want to see what I do? Are you on Facebook? And they'll go, well, yeah. And she goes, oh, let's be friends. And then I'll link you into what I do. I'll show you. And then she links them right in right then. She's gotten several associates that way.
That's cute.
Very quick.
Okay.
She doesn't go through all this other stuff, the webinars. She eventually will say, why don't you jump on this webinar? You'll learn a lot more about it. But that's when she's gotten their information and she can call them, and they're already on the product a lot of times.
Huh. Excellent. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, if you can get them on that and they see 82,000 or whatever it is now, does everybody on here know what ASEA Healthy Self is?
Yeah.
It's great.
Well, see, nobody's showing me their face, so I have no idea.
I'll try tonight.
I can show. Let me just show everybody very quickly. 83,100 members now. So
wow.
It's 83,000. So anyway, this is, and I'll show you guys how to tag somebody in case you don't know that also. This is a site that has many, many, many testimonials. So obviously this one is about a dog. Last time I wrote a testimony, I found I was pregnant after trying to conceive for 16 months. Now, several months later, I'd like to announce the birth of my beautiful daughter. She recovered very quickly after giving birth. There's all kinds. She was having seizures. Here, this is Felicia's. She had surgery, and this is how bruised and everything she was, and this was only after 48 hours.
Wow.
The difference in her leg was amazing. And no pain meds. So, where it says search this group over here, you can put in whatever you'd like to search for. So if you wanted to put in joint pain, you could bring up all the testimonials with joint pain in it.
Mhm.
So that's in search this group with the little magnifying glass. And say I wanted to, I'm just going to pick you, Buffy. So I want to tag you in this. And a lot of people don't know what tag means. So I want you to see Felicia O'Donnell's testimonial. So I'll go, hey, Buffy, are you on as Buffy?
Yes. There you go.
There you are. So there's your name. It popped up because we're friends. I had to make sure that you were a friend, and then I had to add you to this first. And then you click on the name, and I'll put, please read this. And then when I hit enter, it goes up, and your name is now in blue, light blue, because that means you've been tagged. And then that's going to send you a notification up here. And it's going to say, Debbie Wetzler just tagged you in a Sea of Healthy Self. And you can click right on that, and it will take you right into a Sea of Healthy Self in that tag. And just so people know, you have to be friends with somebody first, and then you have to, where it says add members, you're going to have to put then you have to put their name in here. So Robin McCulley's name pops up, and I'll click on it, but she's already a member, I'm pretty sure. And it says already a member. So you can start just adding your friends to this, and that you want to tag in something and put their names in. But I'd make sure I'd talk to them first. So that's how what Denny says, add, tag, and message. And that's what it looks like. And the only way you find that site is to be a member of it. So I hope that was helpful also.
Mhm.
Debbie, I actually learned something recently where I don't know if you've had a challenge sometimes with tagging people and they don't pop up. I found a way around that. Do you want to share about that?
Sure, absolutely.
I mean, did you want me to, or did you want to go over that?
Yeah, no, please, you do it.
Okay. If you're having a problem, let's say you're tagging John Smith, and you type in John Smith all in lowercase and it doesn't pop up, try uppercase John Smith. If it still doesn't pop up, put the at sign first. So you would do at capital John, capital Smith, and I've had a 99% success rate finding John Smith when I do that. It's kind of like using quotation marks in a different, I think it's called a Boolean search, but just putting the at sign in front of it, and then make sure you always capitalize. And if, let's say it's a woman's name, and let's say it's Cindy Smith, but she's actually Cindy Joan Smith, you'd have to do at capital Cindy space, capital Joan space, capital Smith space, and then you have a 99% chance of finding that person. But if you just do lowercase Cindy Smith or lowercase Cindy Joan Smith, because we have 82,000 members now, I think they only show you like 5 or so. It's getting where, for me at least, I'm having a harder time finding people when I try to tag them. So I've learned, somebody taught me last month, put the at sign in front, and you'll have a better success rate.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
The one thing I will say, that after you become friends and then you add them, sometimes it sends them an invitation that they have to accept first.
Right.
Sometimes it just adds them. But I usually, before I can tag anybody, I have to go out of that site and then come back in. I don't know if it's a setting thing first or not, but I always have to do that.
Now that's interesting. I never thought about that, because I'll go all day and I'll keep trying to add them. I'll try and I'll try and I'll try, and it's still not there. And I'm thinking, and then I might forget. So that's great. I'll pop out and pop back in and see if that's a good solution too.
Right. It's almost like, when you do something and then you have to update your computer or something, or you put something in and you have to turn your phone off and turn it back on occasionally.
Yeah.
You do always have to do that as far as I know. You add them as a member, then you just click and go out of that site, go to another one maybe, and then come back to it. And then I guess it's just like locked in then. I don't know.
Like a
I
refresh.
don't know how you would say that technically, but
Yeah.
yeah, like a refresh. Thank you.
Yeah. That's a great thought. I'll try that.
And that helps me. But I'll do
Right.
the @ sign if it still doesn't work. I'll do the @ sign. That'll be great.
Yeah. And then always remember, you've got to use caps, because I've
Yeah,
just,
I do use capitals because I found lowercase didn't work either. You're right.
Mhm. Yeah. I think it's because we have so many members now, really.
It could be. I don't know. I don't know what exactly it is. So I'll ask again because I can show you one other thing. Because people always want to know how to get started. But is there anything else particular that anybody wants to go into? If not, I'll show you this. All right, I'm going to show you this.
Can I ask one? Hi, Debbie.
Hi, Patricia.
One quick question, and now I
Yes.
know. Thank goodness I'm on this training call. Now I understand why the person never received. I said I tagged you, but you didn't respond. Now I know why. Because you must go in there and enter the person's name, add the
Yes.
person's name.
Yes.
Oh, that's why.
If
Thank
they're
you.
not a member, you can't tag them. Yes. And they can't see that site either.
They can't. Okay, now
No.
I know. Thank you.
Sure. It's a closed group and we keep it that way just for compliance reasons.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Deb, this is Corinne. I
Yes,
had a
hi.
question. Hi. I had a question. I was wondering if you have any suggestions on how to tell chiropractors or physical therapists or massage therapists how they can incorporate direct sales into their practices.
Okay. I thought I did this before. Okay. Okay, most of the doctors I know put up usually a display, first of all. And or I know a few doctors who have looped one of the videos in their office. And while people are sitting there waiting, they're watching this play. And so they're getting to know what redox molecules are and stuff like that. And then then they go in and ask. And then most doctors will also sign up somebody. It could be their wife, it could be an assistant, it could be, we have one doctor that uses a sister, somebody that he puts in usually at the very top of his organization. And so that everybody he signs up, half of them will be underneath that person. So they'll have a vested interest. And he makes sure that that person is then trained. They know how to answer all the questions. They know how to run the business. They know where to put people. They know how to respond to what are redox molecules, all that kind of stuff. And so because a doctor is usually busy. So when they come in and they've seen the video, they've seen the display, what is that, doctor? It's something that I think everybody should be on. Would you like more information? The person says yes. Do I have your permission to have my assistant call you? Yes. He gets permission. And then he'll have either the assistant that he's signed up, and it can be in his office and he can share the wealth. And then, or his wife or his sister, whoever he's having help him, I'll have my assistant get in touch with you and they'll be able to tell you more about it. And then that's how doctors usually do it.
Okay. Terrific.
And chiropractors are great with it. I mean, people still have to come be adjusted and all that other kind of stuff, but this can really, really help a lot of other things that chiropractors run into that they can't really help with. I mean, they can't help necessarily with diseases necessarily and stuff like that. But so it's helped a lot of chiropractors have another huge additional stream of income many times because patients will always listen to their chiropractors and doctors' advice. And if the doctor is telling them that he thinks this is a good product and it can't hurt you in any way, then why wouldn't they get on it?
And hey, Debbie,
Uh-huh.
something that I do, I got the really nice brochures that talk about, the medical panel. So if I'm talking to a chiropractor, that is what I give them to get that instant credibility. Because I have a chiropractor now. I gave it to her, I followed up, and she's interested. It's just a matter of now of actually getting in touch with her. But you know what, when you see that it's so professionally done, and now she can see it's not just chiropractors, it's doctors. And so I feel they're much more comfortable when they look at that.
Absolutely. So you could take the medical professional board, and you can get it at
ASEA store.
ASEA store, but you can also get it on I Am ASEA, I believe.
Yes, yep.
And you could print that out and laminate it and carry that with you. And then you could also print out something like Rosie's. You know, we have 4 pictures of Rosie. She was horrible looking, literally. And her face changed so completely that when you show that to people, you can say, this is another example of what our product can do. And that's very compliant. It's just showing the differences in her face and what her face looked like before and after. And then you can show them a healing one. That's not as compliant, I can tell you that. But, you know, you can show a healing one. And if you take those 3 things with you, and I have that big, thick textbook. Doctors are always impressed when you bring that textbook in.
Mm.
So if you bring that in and you show it to them, they'll see that this is a huge, true science, basically. And then, of course, you can mention PubMed.gov and stuff like that. But, yeah, if you bring stuff with you, but anyway, you can bring things with you that show credibility. Because, you know, and I always say, I mean, the first thing I say is, we are a very stable company. We've been around for 10 years. We're in 33 countries. We just went over the $1 million mark in sales this year. The product is not on trial. It's working. If it wasn't working, we wouldn't be in all those countries and we wouldn't be making this much money and shipping out this much product. You know, and there's nothing they can argue about with that one. So make sure you get some of your facts down. And again, that's something I could put out to all of you. I could send you that, but I have a slide in the PowerPoint where I show all the different things. The company's 10 years old. It's, you know, we just went over the $100 million mark. You know, we can make $800 million worth of product and we can double that in 2 weeks' time. You know, that just shows stability and forth thinking and that this is a very stable, good company. And people just don't argue with it anymore. I've been having complete signups with every presentation I've been doing because people are starting to really get it.
Yeah. You have some of that just verbiage typed out as well? Or are you speaking of watching the whole presentation? I mean, because I've watched several and I'm jotting down notes and I get half the sentence sometimes and I'm like, oh, what'd you say? I'll wait till next week.
I don't do PowerPoints anymore. I just talk to people kind of like Leland does. And or I will just hit the video. If I go to a presentation, the easiest thing to do, this is exactly what Terry Latham does, and he just hit double, Ambassador Diamond. He'll go, you know, he's funny. He goes, y'all want a 45-minute PowerPoint or do you want a 13-minute video? Push the video. And he plays the Redox Breakthrough from AmazingMolecules.com. And then he'll have a few testimonials. And then he will pour a little taste of ASEA for everybody there. And then he says, how's that taste to you? And some people will say, tastes like water, tastes a little salty, tastes like pool water, tastes a little off, tastes like bleach, tastes, you know, whatever. And he goes, why do you all think that tastes different to everybody? And that's a brilliant thing to say.
Yeah.
Tastes different because people are in different places, you know, in their life and their balance. And when you know, and you can say, when you get into balance, this will taste like regular water. So this is going to taste different to everybody because everybody's different. But it shows that the product is real and that it's working and that it tastes different to everybody. You know, it's not like grape Kool-Aid and everybody goes, tastes like grape.
Yeah.
And then he basically signs people up after that. Or finds out what else they need. But
That's pretty brilliant.
Yeah, it's simple. People see that they can do it. Anybody can hit play on a video.
Mm-hmm.
And when David and I used to go do presentations for Dr. Frank Malagrana, he's a urologist in Annapolis, we would play a video, and then we'd answer questions. And of course, he answers their questions. So make this as simple as you can, and it's much more effective.
Mm-hmm.
And getting people in front of a webinar, like on Wednesday nights when David and I do them, or Thursday nights when Alan Noble does them, is another great way. That's really easy. You can get people across the country to sit down in front of a Zoom, because everybody can do that. They
Right.
can be in their pajamas and do it.
That
And then
scenario,
you can set it up for afterwards. We'll call them and answer their questions.
Yeah.
Although David and I do that. But once they've signed up, people are always saying, how do you get people started? And I always meet with people, and I make sure that I have people's why. And I do not let them tell me, I love helping people. Well, that's not going to get them out of bed every day.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to help people. I wanted to help people. But you have to dig down deep, and you have to see the emotion cross their face. So you make sure that you get their why, and then you make sure that they put a picture or a photo in front of their phone, wherever they sit to make calls. And that's what they're going to look at to remind them. And their why is going to change. I mean, my first why was to save my house and pay for my son's wedding. Well, that was 6 years ago. So my why has changed again. You know, that's not what I want anymore. I've already done that. But make sure you sit down with them, and then make sure that you get a list of at least 20 people to start. And then you're going to help them get on the phone with those people immediately. And if they'll do some three-ways with you right then just do it. And if they are nervous about it, you say, okay, then let's call your mom or whoever, and we're going to practice the three-way. And I'm going to show you what a three-way is like, because I'm just going to educate people, and I'm not going to push them. I'm not going to be salesy. I'm not going to be anything. But this is a three-way. And you need to do three-ways or you will not be successful. Because the faster you can get people signed up, I can tell you Roxanne just signed up her second person, and she went direct for 700, and she was excited. And I was really excited for her, because that's the most thrilling thing, is to get some people in, to see that you can do it, and to see how it's starting. And so you do that with your people. The faster you get them in, this is a Jeff Carlisle thing, the faster you get them in, the faster the people will be excited, and the more the faster they'll go, basically. So if you can start making phone calls with them right away, then you do that.
And in fact, I called up Freehan and I said, okay, we're going to do an in-home, because she was at my home Saturday. She got to meet Debbie in person as opposed to on the phone. And I said, you got to do this. She goes, okay. So Friday, Debbie's going to do it. It's like, let's have some rapid fire. Let's get this done.
You didn't tell me that, but okay.
Yes,
Okay. Well, anyway, yes. So yeah, that's perfect. You're making her start making these phone calls, because again, that gets people excited.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a checklist that I did with Tammy Gates, and it kind of gives you a little bit more step by step. And again, I'll send this to you. 5-step fast start checklist. So the first thing is to get connected to your support system. So meet your upline success team. So that's all your upline, which includes your sponsors, active leader, and beyond. So, and either have your sponsor call if you want it to happen that way, and introduce you on a three-way, or call them yourself. We always send out the Winfrastructure, and it's got everybody's contact information in it. I can't even tell you how impressed I am if somebody calls me. I've had one person in this whole time I've been in, one person call and say, hi, my name is Melinda Douglas, and I'm going to be your next diamond. I was like, all right. You have no idea. That was thrilling to me. Nobody ever calls us. Anyway, B, if you have serious goals, make sure you keep asking and meeting until you have a phone call conversation with your upline diamond and above. So if you really want to make it, make sure you know that you're known to your upline diamonds, basically. They'll be very impressed, they'll want to help you, and they'll be more available. If you call them and they don't even know who you are to begin with, I mean, it's not that we've ever turned down people, but they're more likely to help you and to be friendly with you once they get to know you, of course. That's just human beings. Register for your free ASEA Business Coach, which is Jeannie. So you have to go to Jeannie and click, learn more, and then let's get started. Complete the interview on Jeannie. Take the A-Lift training. Watch the training videos to meet Jeannie and discover what a powerful virtual assistant she can be for you. All the trainings are in there. She can be a great help to you. Number 2, set your first 14-day goal. Your first 14 days should be to sign up 2 people and earn your $50 director's bonus. And make note of your deadline date. The director's bonus it ends on Fridays always. So if you signed up today, you'd have the rest of this week, the rest of next week, and the rest of the next week, because it takes you, it gives you 2 full weeks, and it ends on a Friday. So make sure you know what your ending date is, so that so you can hit your target, basically. Look at the day you enrolled as an associate. Move your clock forward to the first Saturday. All of the days between the day you enrolled and this first Saturday are free for gimmies. So again, if you signed up today, you'd have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all as free days. And then you've got 2 weeks. It goes Saturday to Saturday, or midnight on Friday. Count 2 commission weeks forward. This will be the second Friday. Note this date. You have all this time to enroll your first 2 active associates with 100 points of product volume, 1 on your right and 1 on your left. Learn about the lucrative 14-day Fast Forward program. Many folks are earning $365 and more in free product, commission, and bonuses for a Fast Forward. And that's signing up 4 people in 14 days with 800 points of volume. That's a Fast Forward. And I showed this in one of my other training things. You can click on the Learn More here or the flyer for the Fast Start on the front of your website. So as soon as you've enrolled your first associate, go in and click on Start My Fast Forward and put that day in, because you just signed up somebody, and then you've got 3 more people to sign up. Make sure you're teaching your first new associate this valuable business building strategy, Fast Forward and Director's Bonus. Then make a list of names with contacts. It can be your phone. It can be, because if you've got contacts in there, it can be your Facebook friends, whatever. But make sure that you have contact information, and then start putting them in a place where you can take notes. A lot of people will do that on on my Gmail account. I have a place for notes. I can put down that Roxanne's husband is named Tobin, and blah, blah, blah. I can put down children's names. I can put down things, the health challenges that they're having, whatever is pertinent. And that way, when you're talking to them, you pull that up and you know exactly what you're saying.
Mhm.
You don't say, "Hi, Joe. How's Joe?" She'll go, "Who's Joe?" I thought that was your husband's name. So it keeps you from doing things like that. Aim for 100 names or more. You can rate them. Pearls is people with Pearls is how you kind of rate people with I'm trying to remember what this is. People with influence, people with I can't remember what it is right now. I should have learned that before I put that up. I'll find out what that is and tell you next week. Anyway, but it's a way to kind of rate people. Don't prejudge anybody, because the people I thought were going to do this didn't, and the people I didn't think were going to do it did. But some people you just think, I would love to be in business with them, and I would love to work with them. So that's who I go after first, because that's who you're going to have the most fun with. And then, of course, you're going to meet new people. Like I've met Buffy now. I love being around Buffy. That's great. And I wouldn't have known her. But anyway, just put down the people that you'd really like to work with, the people with a lot of heart, the people who are caring, the people who love health, basically, and want to be healthy. I've literally had one guy look and go, no, I smoke pot all the time and I don't care about my health, so this probably wouldn't be the right business. I'm like, you're right. Thanks for telling me. That was his comment back.
Well, that saved you time.
It saved me a lot of time.
Sounds like he's probably good at getting out of being on jury duty too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. He was a server in a restaurant, and he did have a good personality, but obviously not for this business. And then number 4 is choose 2 items from the action plan list and contact your sponsor or upline later when you've completed the 2 items that you've chosen. And then number 5 is add events and reminders to your calendar. Charge up calls. We don't have Expert in the House anymore. Now we have Discover ASEA. The animal webinars, the health professional webinars, local events, regional events, and convention. So if you add that to your calendar and you make a note that you're going to go, then it'll be in there and you won't make other plans for that weekend. And I was just talking to Sharona. I went on an appointment with her today. You know, she was virtually saying, man, when I first got in, I jumped on that library and I jumped in those videos and I went to Amazing Molecules and I watched all the videos and stuff. And I go, yeah, so did I. That's when you know you have somebody that's really anxious and excited about doing this business, because when they jump in and do it themselves, that's what you want. You know, you don't want to have to tell people, you know, and have you watched the video? Have you watched the Genesis? No. Then, you know, they want something, they want to make money, they want to have a life, they want to do everything, but they're not willing to do stuff for it. You know, I mean, if you're learning a new business, learn it. So that's the 5-step fast start checklist. I will find out what pearls mean and I will send that along with this. I used to use it. I mean, I actually have never rated people. People say to do that. Like I said, I just put down my best friends who I really would wanted to do this, and part of them did and part of them didn't. They're still my friends, but you know, some of them just didn't really want to do this. But I got in my friends that I wanted to do this with, and then it just started growing. They introduced me to people who I became very good friends with, and just that's the fun of this. You just get to meet such neat people, and I have met such beautiful people everywhere I go. Like I just met Roxanne's people, her friends. They were wonderful. I just went down to North Carolina and met Joyce's friends, and they were wonderful. You know, it's fun meeting new friends and making new friends. So I will just ask if there's any questions about any of this before I stop the recording. I think what's on tonight, this is the animal webinar is on tonight if anybody's interested. I must have done a really good job because I have no questions. Must have explained it all perfectly except for pearls.
How about pearls of wisdom?
Yeah, pearls of wisdom.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, thank you for joining me tonight. If you have any questions, please, and like I said, Buffy, I will find out what it is and I'll send it to you.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I've seen that before and I'm like, what is that?
I just cannot pull it up right now. It's gone blank for me. But you know, I mean, things to talk about are always family, friends, work, and you know, all that kind of stuff. There's another acronym for that, but it's not that. So anyway.
Yeah, that's
Is that form or something like that?
Yeah, that's form. Family, occupation. I don't even know. Something in marriage. I can't even remember.
Recreation.
Recreation. There we go.
Yeah.
It's tough to remind you of, you know, what to talk about if you just have gone blank. I've never gone blank. So people always, you know, you can ask them one question and they might still be talking 30 minutes later. So it's always fine with me. Anyway. All right. Well, again, thank you for coming, and I will see everybody again next Friday until we learn everything. Next Tuesday.